Hey guys, welcome to episode 6, Game of Thrones Beyond the Wall, or I should just call it Death is the Enemy. That should be the real title for this episode. This was action packed from beginning to end. It's a lot of fun. But for me, Fire and Ice love has begun, baby. Yeah.
He's like, I'm all about the love. I'm all about the love.
All right, let's do the whole walk around. Start you, Andrew. What do you think of this episode? What was just your general thoughts on what the episode went through?
I think only one word can sum it all up, and it is bruh. And that's all I can say about it.
Okay. How about you, Sam?
No, it was a great episode, man. I think they really tried to get a lot of emotional connections. This episode, because just from the start of how you have this buddy kind of attitude between all the guys there, so they try to get the emotions going so we could all have that kind of anticipation, like, oh my god, who's gonna die, but yeah, I think they pulled it off. It was a good show. I think the best way to summarize it, really, I think you're right. Death is the enemy, but I think at the end of the day,
love is king.
No, not really. I think what it really is what I think the rest of the show is going to turn into, which is basically an alliance of rivals, right? Because this episode really started out as an alliance of rivals. None of the guys, all the guys, they were like, had reasons. They mentioned the reasons why they shouldn't be working together. And this is going to lead to the next episode where we have, even bigger rivals trying to work together. So it's going to be very interesting.
Okay. How about you, Lou?
Episode was on point. The bomb squad came to play. The Night Skin got his dragon. What else?
Yeah, I mean, no, this episode was packed.
Oh, you know what else we got? We got a bromance brewing between the Hound and what's his name?
Tommen.
Tommen. I want my chick.
She's gonna have my babies. She's gonna have my babies.
It's like you're gonna have tall, giant monster children.
Tormund is crazy.
I know. Dude is hilarious, man. Dude is absolutely hilarious. I mean, okay, so let's go through some of the paces, right? Let's start with the whole beginning intro where everyone was, pairing up with everyone. What I found interesting was what's his name again? Mormont's guy. What's his first name?
Jorah.
Jorah Mormont. Yeah, he and Jon Snow, and it really looks like that guy has really found his place and he knows where he fits more than anything else. And Jon Snow, I think, found his place not there, but he understood where he fits at the end of this episode. But again, Jon Snow doing Jon Snow things, giving away the sword, rushing in to go fight Dragon. I mean, fight dead people when Dragon comes by.
Jon Snow's conversation with what's his name? Not Thoros, but the other guy, the guy that's died 6 times.
Beric Dondarrion.
Beric Dondarrion. Yes. What do you think about that conversation when basically they were saying we don't know why the Lord of Light has brought us back, and then Jon has an epiphany and he goes, "Oh man, I am the shield.
We have the shield of to protect." Like basically summarizing, he's the shield to protect people. Basically, that's the
it's the Night Watch.
The Night Watch creed. Yeah, I am the shield that guards
the realm. That protects the realms of man.
Yeah, I mean, true that, but that also connects back to what the Fire guy talked about.
Yeah, because the Night's Watch in their pledge, they also say like, "I am the light in the darkness" or something like that.
Yeah,
and the whole thing about the Brothers Without Borders, they believe that the Lord of Light is going to carry them through the darkness. So he's saying like, "Look, the fate is leading us to each other," or something along those lines.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right. I think Jon definitely plays a major role. I mean, there's a major kind of theme of Jon finally finding himself in this episode, finally finding his purpose. And I think actually the scene that really actually puts the exclamation points on your view is the whole Cold Hands episode, right? When Cold Hands shows up. I think that was just basically an end of a story that we really never knew what was going on. We never knew what the purpose was. Yeah. And finally, it's like his purpose was to save Jon. Like that is it. Jon finally realized, okay, I have to do stuff. I might not understand what the purpose of doing it is, but it has to be done anyway.
Any thoughts in any other conversations in that first scene? Anyone else?
Well, you got man, I can't remember his name again. The king redhead.
Tormund.
When he told Jon,
oh yeah,
redhead. I like
our
that.
king refused to bend the knee, and look where that got him. Yeah. That opened up Jon to willing to bend the knee to Dany.
Dany and Dan, yeah. I thought that was very.
He realized his pride. Sometimes you have to put your pride aside for the greater cause. Granted, he also feels the guilt of losing her a dragon, but hey, we know the scorpion doesn't work good, but god damn it, we could get us a Light King. He could take them bitches down in a shot.
Godly. Andrew, any thoughts?
No, I was really loving all the back and forth between all the groups that paired up. Again, like Tormund when what's his name? When the Hound told him like, oh yeah, you're I got nothing against wildlings. It's gingers I hate. And he goes, gingers are beautiful. We're kissed by fire.
My favorite part of that was when they were talking to Gendry. And basically everyone just told Gendry, stop bitching, man. Just stop bitching, okay?
Yeah, see, so when I was watching that episode, I was watching the beginning part when they told Gendry to run back. And I was like, the Master Rower, of course, is the one they're going to tell to run back. This is the guy that has the energy to row. And they had to send him back to the Night's Watch, but
Entry fast though.
Yeah, homie is like Mo Farah, man. He can run that 10K. Yeah. All right, so okay, I know we saw that this one I want to touch on quite a bit because it goes back to Sansa. I'm going back to Sansa as well as Arya. And okay, I'm sorry, man. Sansa is stupid. This is full stupidity in how she's playing it because she's not showing leadership. That's the thing. I'm not saying that
you just don't like Sansa.
No. It's not that. I get what she's doing. I get how she's doing it, but she's not showing leadership because look, I'll put it this way. Arya, the way Arya spoke to her, gave her all the time for her to actually convince her otherwise. Sansa just did a bad job at it. That's how I see it.
I think Sansa just doesn't understand Arya, and she doesn't know how to respond. Like, I think she's genuinely terrified of Arya, and she thinks Arya might be crazy. So it's less about saying the right thing.
But the crazy part only came. The crazy part only came at when she found the faces.
No, but I think Sansa's been suspecting this before. The faces just put it to another level. But when she saw, at first when I watched that scene where Arya's like doing the swordplay and all that, I thought like Sansa's like, oh, holy shit, how did this happen? But as time passed on and like Arya starts like saying, these are the people I'm going to kill, I have a list and all this stuff, I think it's starting to add up in her mind. And she's like, this girl is off the rails and I don't know what I would say that might put me on that list. And I think that's what's throwing Sansa kind of off her game.
But you gotta really look at Sansa as a complete package, right? She was the only one out of all the Stark kids that was held in King's Landing. She was held by enemy forces. She was supposed to be married to a king, and then she was married off to his uncle, and then she was married off to an ally of the Lannisters. She's gone through a lot of stuff, and she's seen crazy stuff happen. She's seen potentially the uncle of the king kill the king with Tyrion and her belief of Tyrion and Joffrey, right? She's seen all the duplicity that King's Landing has to offer. She's seen the brutality that what's his face, the guy with the flayed men. What are they named again?
The Boltons.
The Boltons, yes. Yeah. The Boltons had to offer.
Right,
so she's coming from a place of, you know what, there is a game behind every game, and I have to make sure that I protect myself.
No, see, I understand that. The problem is this. The way she dealt with her sister it reminded me of her dealing with her sister in
She
season
has
1.
seen Cersei.
No.
And she has seen Jaime
I'm not
deal
saying
with
that.
people.
I'm saying that what she did was not reminiscent of her journey. She
Okay, I'll put it this way.
reverted back
Arya
to treating her
is not
sister.
Arya is not family to her right now.
No, I
Arya
get it.
No one is family to her. There are people who are on her side and people who are against her. That's who she is. She is Cersei in the North.
I get
That's
it.
who she is.
I get it. But what she did is she reverted back to treating her sister like season 1, not like the mastermind she's supposed
She
to
hasn't
be
seen
improving.
her since season 1. Dude, you're making your own points. You're making the points.
No, I'm making my point. I'm making my point that she
season
reverted
1.
back to stupidity instead of actually not that I'm saying that that's what she should be doing. I'm just saying she reverted back to stupidity rather than being the mastermind. You're saying that she went through schooling with Cersei.
No. I think she went back to dealing with Arya, like she understood Arya, but she went back to dealing with Arya. So basically, so she could play that game. If you understand what she did in this episode, is really kind of dangerous. She actually showed her real dangerous side because she sent Brienne out to potentially die. That's
exactly.
what she did.
That's my thing. Like, what do you guys think is the motivation behind that? Because when she sent her away, I kind of thought she was doing it because she doesn't trust herself. Like Littlefinger might have gotten in her ear and she might have thought
Littlefinger got to her ear when Littlefinger said that.
Man.
No, but I was thinking like she was thinking maybe I gotta get her to maybe kill Arya. But at the same time, she's thinking, what if Arya gets Brienne to turn me on something? I think it's more so the first one. So she's like, all right, I got to get Brienne out of this equation completely. And I don't know if that was like a smart move or if she was just doing it because
she was brilliant. Think about it in 3 phases, right? She has to deal with someone she doesn't understand, which is Arya. She has someone who will potentially defend Arya if she makes a move against her, and someone who would defend her if Arya makes a move against her. So that's a neutral party that could potentially hamper her, send her out of the way. Now, what do you have? She has the army of the what's it called, the Aerie, backing her up. She's already been designated the Lady of the North in absence of Jon Snow. So basically, if she makes a move against Arya, like try to get Arya in jail, basically tuck her out of the way, she can make a move now. And that was it. And what she went to that room to do was look for evidence of something to try to get on Arya that Arya had on her. And it just totally backfired with Arya giving her the dagger and going,
yeah. I mean, no, but
let's see what you can do. She played that game very well. That was very well written. You got to give that to her.
She played it well enough, except for one part. She didn't understand her enemy, which was Arya. That's why I say she fucked up. She missed the rest of her
enemy.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, but you gotta Littlefinger does this game, and he knows how. Even though he doesn't even if he doesn't understand the enemy.
I like how Lou is getting like this, like, oh my lord.
Lou's like, I know the future.
I think Lou.
You know why she sent Brienne? We all know why she sent Brienne. It's simple. She don't trust Cersei for jack shit. I wouldn't either. She ain't stepping no foot into King's fucking Landing.
Well, yeah, but she could have just said, no, I'm not gonna come. She didn't have to send Brienne.
Yeah.
Who else is she gonna send? There's no one that she trusts.
Nobody. That's the point. That's the where the Starks have always messed up. Like you could have just sent a Raven back saying,
remember when she told her brother,
see me. I ain't going down there.
Brother, right?
Like you know where I'm at. Pull up if you want some, and she didn't do that.
Exactly. No, exactly.
That's how you gotta handle it.
Remember, she told her brother that you do not go there. She already had scolded her brother on that. So of course she's using this opportunity like
but we know John got an army of 2 dragons, the Unscully and the Dothraki behind them.
Yeah,
you've seen how they pulled up in that trailer.
we'll get to that in a sec. But I mean,
oh, dude, it sucks because I know what's gonna fucking happen next week, and I can't spoil it.
Just zip it.
You see, Lou. This is the price you pay when you skip ahead. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They better not leak this episode this week.
Don't be doing that brand stare, man. Don't be doing that stare like Bran and just decide to slip it out while we're talking.
Yeah,
I'm biting my tongue.
Go white.
I'm biting my tongue for you guys and for the audience.
Yeah. By the way, this is a random question. Where the hell is Ghost? I just thought about that this episode. I was like,
Man, Ghost didn't make it into the budget for the CGI.
Yeah.
You see them
they
dragons
spent all
on
that money on
point.
the dragons.
They're like, yo,
Yeah.
The
They
dragons,
had enough
look real as hell, by the way. Like they're doing a very good job with the CGI on those dragons.
Yeah, the dragons were on, but I love that.
Although today's episode, you could tell it was definitely CGI with the way the blood splattered, man. I'm like, that's like video game blood splatter.
Well, yeah, the motion wasn't as good, but I mean, like
Yeah.
the shot where they're dragging him out of the ice, like
No. To me, you know,
That
the best
looks
shot I
amazing.
liked was when she was leaving Dragonstone, and the dragons mounted and just dove down, and you just pulled back. The other two dragons just took off. That was dope. That was a really good scene. I loved that conversation she had with what's his name again? Tyrion. Yeah, where they were going back and forth, and he was trying to convince her that, look, you can't rule by fear. Yes, you know, some force is necessary, but you got to understand, you got to tailor it back. Like, if you want to do something different, you can't. My sister does fear, you know, and you can't be that person. That whole conversation, but already from that point, you could tell how Jon Snow love was already starting. And she's like, you know, all these people who like to go to war, and that Jon Snow. I'm like, yeah. The only time you mention a guy like that is because you like him.
No, she listed all her lovers.
yeah.
And then husband, I think lovers, husbands, and then what's it called? Jon Snow. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like interesting group of heroes you got there.
I love the way she's acting like a seventh grader. Like, he doesn't like me. Why? Did he say something about me? Do you know something? Does he like me? Did he pass a note to you in science class?
That was interesting. That was actually they did that very well. I like the way they did that whole conversation. But something really important came out of that conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who takes over after Dany? So if Dany ever seats on the Iron Throne, and I think this is alluding to the fact that she might not ever seat on the Dragon Throne. On the Iron Throne, because at the end of the day, who takes over from her? You know, she has no children.
The prince.
What?
I mean,
but like
Ice and Fire. I mean, right now the child is coming.
She's operating under the assumption that that no one knows that Jon is a rightful heir to the throne.
Yeah.
So
no. I know. I'm saying that we know who's going to sit on that throne. The children that both of them will have. Okay?
No, but like
she can't have more children.
The problem
Who
is
said
that
so?
She said so like 3 times this episode.
I know she said.
She's
you guys
aware. She thinks she can't have children, but we all know that Jon is gonna shoot that ice demon, and it's gonna impregnate her in a heartbeat.
Because remember when the witch that killed Drogon, she cursed Dany and told her she would never bear any more children.
No. I know that. We know that part. I'm just saying that. Look, Jon Snow is gonna just. That's all gonna just kill the curse. There.
Well, technically, it's possible that the curse is wrong.
Yeah,
you know,
this is Game of Thrones. The curses are never correct.
We're talking about a show where people have dragons and people have been brought back from the dead 5 times. So, you know,
6.
maybe Dany's gonna die and she's gonna be resurrected, and the new Dany can have kids or something like that. You never know. They'll find a loophole.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Maybe Melisandre comes.
But I'm just gonna put it this way: it's gonna be very difficult for a woman who was basically dead and brought back through fire, and a guy who died and got resurrected. It's gonna be very interesting if they're
No, she never died.
Required bits.
Remember, she never died.
She walked into freaking fire. Okay,
yeah, but she never died. We don't know if she died.
It was a thing of rebirth.
I'm sure
for rebirth to happen, there has to be some kind of death. I see
she
it as
cocooned in the fire. Okay.
She cocooned in the fire.
Now, here's what's going to happen. Sam left the Citadel and he stole some book, and Gilly's going to be reading it one night, and she's like, "What's in vitro fertilization?" And they're going to figure it out, and then boom, Dany can have kids now. We solved it.
It's like, what is this thing they call in vitro cells? Well, that's interesting. That might be actually a good way to do that.
No, that would just be too much for the show. Hey, Warren, how's it going, man?
It's going.
All right,
good.
So what are your thoughts on the episode? Spell it out.
Oh, it's a great episode. I enjoyed it.
You
everything
enjoy the
was
bomb
good.
squad?
The bomb squad?
The dragons coming in fireball.
Oh, yeah. The dragons coming in. All 3 of them came. And like I said,
they came and one didn't leave.
I told you Drogo wasn't going to die. I said that.
We all knew that.
Yeah, we knew that after we looked at the picture.
No. Everybody was like, it was going to be Drogon. I was like, it looks like Drogon. I was like, it's not going to be him. She needs one to fly. So they picked the one that nobody knows the name.
Viscera.
What's the name again, guys?
Viscera.
Take it to the
Sarah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Sarah, no, whatever.
Oh, he took a spear like a champ.
Yeah. Dude, okay, so the Night King kind of showed how badass he was, man.
Dude, the Japan champion, man.
He did the Hussein Bolts. Like, okay, aim right there, bam.
Yo, he's
One
gonna go to
shot.
Cersei and teach her how it's done because everybody else fired that scorpion horribly. He took one shot, hit her.
Yeah.
No, but
Like,
what? Here's what's that whole
But
scene.
but isn't there some magical properties and whatever he threw at that dragon for that to happen though? That wasn't like any normal spear.
I mean, it's his ice spear.
man.
His ice spear. But I think this is it, though. I think that scene showed us the number one. Dragonfire is not going to kill him because he just walked right through it. Number two,
It might. It's fire that can't kill him.
but that was Dragonfire that he walked right through on the floor.
Yeah,
Remember,
he walked through the dragon.
Yeah, he
Fire
remember,
ain't gonna kill him.
It cooled off
Yeah.
as he stepped. So what's going to happen is Jon Snow has to battle him at the end.
Yeah.
That's just it.
That's what it's setting up
Yeah.
to happen.
I think that's what Beric Dondarrion basically told him. Like, see that guy there, the one I'm pointing with my sword? We gotta kill him. He's the one that made all of them, so we gotta kill him. Okay. And we know Beric
Now he served his purpose and will die.
Yeah, I mean,
Beric can now die.
he's gonna die at some point. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much there. But that whole, so what do you guys think about that whole scene with them on the little rock on the lake and all that stuff? Any thoughts about that?
No, you could blame your boy the Hound for being a dumbass.
Oh my god.
He wants to throw rocks at dead people. Really, dude?
But you always got that one friend.
The only thing I was thinking about that scene is that the soundtrack to it should have been the soundtrack from Gladiator, man. That thing just kept on playing in my mind when I was watching that scene. When John and Tormund finally bumped back, so I'm like, oh, so you start the song right there, and it's slow, like da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. But nah, they didn't do it, so yeah, couldn't get my favorites. Soundtrack.
Have you guys ever seen the movie? I think it was Arthur, the one with Clive Owen in it, and like, yeah. There's this really good scene in there where they're getting chased.
Oh yeah,
and they're on ice,
right?
Yeah, and they're like shooting arrows, and there's a one guy that just starts banging with a hammer to like make the ice fall so they can't get tracked.
Yeah.
And then when whatchamacallit, when the Hound hit the hammer on the floor, I was thinking, dude, do that 4 more times and then get back on the rock.
Okay.
Like, what are you doing? Why are you sitting back?
Oh, that was really cool with the hammer, though. How he got the hammer. That was actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like, boy, leave. Now give us the hammer.
It's like,
Give us
Faster
the
without
hammer.
the hammer. Move.
Although there was that point where they captured Tormund, I was like, oh come on, he's not gonna die here like this. This guy needs a proper battle, not with someone dead, bunch of cronies. At least maybe one of the Night King's generals. Come on.
Yeah.
And I was happy he didn't die. I was like,
I like how Jorah and Tommen made dragon glass weapons.
All right.
Yep, okay. Jorah had the
He had daggers.
Yeah.
He had daggers, and then Captain Redhead created like an axe figure.
axe, yeah.
Right, okay. That's true.
I like what you call Captain Redhead.
Redhead.
Tormund, man. Tormund.
Now you just like
Redhead.
I forget all the
You know,
names.
hey, he said it. Gingers are the best.
Kissed by fire.
Oh man! Anything,
But those scenes of them talking to each other, like as they're walking up, was funny.
Yeah, it was.
And honestly, we could blame the Hound. The Hound fucked up twice in this episode.
Yeah.
He let our boy, the priest, die. The Red Priest, he's dead because of the Hound being a pussy with the fucking bear.
You don't fuck with no fire. It's well known.
I'm actually wondering why they had that whole scene with the bears, and I think the whole reason behind that scene was to show us that you don't need to hit them with a killing strike. You just need to like basically injure them with what's it called? With fire, or what is it called? Whatever.
Dragon.
I'm sorry, but the fire didn't do shit.
No, the dragon glass is what killed him.
They just stabbed him like on the shoulder for a bear. That would not kill a bear, but the bear ends up dying because it's dragon glass. So I think you just need to injure them with the dragon glass.
What I think they mainly figured out is the strategy is understanding that they're all a hive mind. They're all connected in one way.
Yeah.
And especially they said it several times, but especially when he kept kicking the damn thing, and all the rest of them screamed at the same exact time. So it's a case of they know they have to kill the ones that turned them, and then if you kill the big one there, all of them go.
I mean, to me, the strategy would be this: when you're going to fight war with these things, your dragons have to separate the generals away, and then you just have to take on those generals. That's just
here's what you do: you get the dragons to do a line of fire because the whites will die from fire, and then you focus, like your humans are going to focus all their energy on shooting dragon glass arrows at the White Walkers. Because if you kill a White Walker, then you'll take out like 100 whites or whatever, and then like you can focus your area instead of having to like have one guy try to kill 50 whites to get to one White Walker.
Yeah, aka Jon Snow, the guy who should blame for letting a dragon die.
Yeah, plus that guy Jon Snow just goes like, you know, what's the name of that guy in World of Warcraft? He goes all Leroy Jenkins on things. Like every single time he has that stance, I'm like, oh boy, he's about to.
Yeah, when he does that, when he's like, you're like,
well,
I think he's playing baseball.
He was coming after to make sure they could get out. They were coming after him. He was making sure they could get a clean getaway.
Yeah, but he stayed on too long.
Did you see him when they all
could have left instead of watching a dragon die? They all could have left. I mean,
no, they were waiting for him.
They were waiting for him.
And then they threw the spear, and then of course you're gonna watch what's happening at this point.
Leave.
No, Danny's not gonna leave. Remember, she treats them as her
She ain't gonna leave her man. You see how she's looking at him?
Yeah, that's right.
Did you see how she was looking on that wall like, where's my man? I can't see my man. Give me a few more minutes, Jorah. You ain't got a chance in hell.
She's like, kids, meet your stepdaddy. Stepdaddy, meet your future kids. I'm sorry.
That whole scene when he was waking up, right? You could just see her eyes. Like, to me, I was looking at the eye acting, just the eyes.
Oh yeah, she was like, "This man is all magic, all magic."
I think it was on point.
Like when she saw the
then she saw him shirtless, and she saw all that. She's like, "Ooh, my man died. Oh yeah, he's getting it. Oh, he gonna get it. He gonna get it raw."
They don't have condoms in Westeros. Ask Tyrion Lannister. I'm pretty sure he can confirm that.
Good point.
That is so raw.
I think everything is raw there.
That is so raw.
Oh yeah.
What's I gonna say?
Keeping it all in the family.
Anything else we missed?
Oh man, there are quite a few things, man.
I'm asking because you're the one who has the notes, Sam, not me.
Yeah, no. Sansa and Arya. I think what really kind of came out of that the first conversation that kind of grabbed my attention was like, what would little Lyra Mormont do?
Say
if she found out about this. It's the whole idea. I think they keep on playing with this whole idea that Sansa really doesn't have the loyalty of the people in the North. Like she's a Stark, but she doesn't have their loyalty.
Yeah.
And the same thing came up again when she was sending Brienne away. And Brienne told her the same thing. Like she's like, I have 100 men here. And she's like, no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. Do you trust them? Are you sure Littlefinger hasn't been going around whispering in your ears? So
she's so dumb.
Yeah, no, she is.
I've been saying this for 3 damn episodes on here, and you all argued with me, and I said Sansa's dumb and annoying, and that's what she's being, dumb and annoying.
So I think, to me, I'm actually a little more worried about the whole idea that she doesn't have to trust the people in the North. So what happens when she finally hears about, Jon going down to King's Landing and talking with the dragon?
Yeah, that is
what's going to happen then. Like, what will she do?
Andrew, Mike, mute.
Isaiah Mullins, Uncle Ben was Captain Save-A-Ho.
Andrew,
I was going to add on to what Sam was saying and about not having the trust of the people in the North. You got to also remember that Brienne is from the South, Podrick is from the South, These are two people. What you call it? Sansa's seen as a Southerner, even though she's from the North. She spent so long in King's Landing, and she's married to.
Yeah.
She was married at the time for a Lannister. Now here comes Brienne with a sword that's from the Lannister house. Here comes Podrick, who is sworn to the Lannisters technically. So it's like having them around and like sending them away also kind of like reestablishes herself as a Northerner. You know, like I'm cutting ties with this like Southern like regime that I have connected.
She cutting
to me.
ties with the help. All
Yeah,
the help she got.
I mean, I get that, but
It's
when
about
that
the optics,
is
though.
your best protection.
It's a risk. It's a huge risk, but it's
I'll
necessary
move.
because when this comes out and it says, "Oh, you betrayed, quote unquote, like your father for the Lannisters," it's
But
not
I
going to
think
look good.
it's not
She's
going to
got-
come out though because we
the
saw
Lannisters.
what Arya did. Arya basically just told her, "I've got you." She just said, "I've got you." That's what it was.
If she makes a play
Yeah.
on Jon's throne, it will come out.
Yeah, it will.
Arya
It will.
bring it
Yeah,
out.
it will come out then. But I'm just saying that Arya says, "I have you." You know,
Yeah.
like you're in check.
But you see, and that's why she went to Arya's apartments afterwards.
No.
Right.
I'm saying then that was. She
But
did.
how she gonna sit there? So Jon Snow lost the Battle of the Bastards. It was the veil. Like, how you gonna shit on your boy when the boy?
No, but
yeah,
she
like,
was right, though. But she was right.
I know it's true, but it's truly stupid to say that in front of somebody with a knife cutting people's faces off. That's stupid to say that.
I'll put it this
But
way.
her
right?
sister was never going to hurt her.
No, yeah, I don't think Arya has it in her.
Is that
to
her
hurt the
sister anymore?
I think Sansa just has to
I
understand.
think Arya's doing this to scare her,
Yeah.
to prevent her, because Arya suspects she might do something. So Arya's doing this to say, don't fuck around. Like I got Jon's back, so don't try to cross him or something like that.
So if you remember, like I keep calling her Cersei of the North because if you remember what Tyrion says, Cersei and his family have always ruled through fear. Arya has seen how this works. She rules from. She's right now ruling from a place of fear. I don't want people to abandon me. I don't want Jon to come back and see half his army gone. She's coming from a place of fear. So Arya has to communicate with her in the same level. Fear. Like I'm going to tell you, if you do stuff, there will be hell to pay. So fear me. So fear is the way you communicate with someone like that because that's the language she understands right now until she finally calms down and goes, okay, this is really my sister. She's not going to hurt me. We have family. We're going to be okay, But fear is the only way you can talk to her right now.
Actually, this would be solved if Bran just spoke a little bit more. We all know Three-Eyed Raven knows everything.
Yeah.
Where the hell was Bran in this
Bran
episode?
could have just been like, but again,
This episode had nothing to do with Bran.
he has no emotions anymore, so you don't care. That's the problem. Because if you had emotions, you'd be like, all right, sis, sit down. All right, you did this, this happened to you, this happened to you. You got blind for a second, and this what's happened to you. Now, can we just like move on? But
Can we ask the one question that's in the room?
what?
How the hell did he get them long ass chains?
Oh, you mean the Night King?
Yeah,
Same
homie
place.
brought out some boat chains for real.
Same place. What's his name? Euron got the damn wood for his boats. Same
The
place.
chains to pull the dragons out.
Oh yeah, to pull the
You didn't know
dragon out.
Westeros had a.
I'm
you
sure
don't know
like,
what-
they just took them.
You didn't know Westeros got a Walmart?
No, 'cause remember, like the people lived in the north. It's not people lived
They
there for
got
thousands
armies,
of
so
years.
they might have a PX there.
He can
Dude,
raise that army of the dead. I'm sure he can find
Hey,
train somewhere, man.
I'm glad he can raise an army of the dead, but by God, is the tail end of the army walking around with a fucking chain the size of a building?
Maybe that's what the giants used to use to plow their fields.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what the Giants used to plow
Yeah.
their field.
I think Westeros having a Walmart's a better idea. Walmart sells everything, man. A dragon glass.
Yeah, no. Anything else, Sam, that we missed?
Oh, let's
He went
see.
to the
Let's-
Home
let's-
Depot.
Let's consult the notes.
Oh, we gotta talk about the
And that too. Who the hell wrapped the dragon with the chain?
So I mean, something went underneath.
Somebody
Somebody went in the water. They hooked it into his.
Half of them were already under the water.
Yeah. It's not like they had to hold their breath. They're already dead. So.
Pretty much.
I guess they can
We gotta
walk
talk
underwater.
about.
Yeah, go ahead.
We got to talk about the scene when Danny, like when they woke up and John finally said that he would bend the knee.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's like-
the whole
I was-
love scene.
Yeah, I was expecting her to say like, "I will fight the Night King with you," and I was like, "If you bend the knee, say it again." You've been saying it for like 7 damn episodes, and then she didn't say it. Then he said it. I was like, "Oh snap, we got a game change over here."
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
the game changer was the fact that she lost her dragon and she wants revenge on that motherfucker.
yeah,
Let's just-
she lost a dragon. She
Yeah.
showed him shirtless, and she saw
She
that
saw
he was
that them
stabbed in the
scars.
heart also at the same time. So
Let,
now
let's
she
talk-
knows that something's funky.
let's also acknowledge that science and gravity don't really work in the world of Game of Thrones, because not only did Jamie not die with a whole bunch of armor on the water, neither did fucking Jon Snow with a whole bunch of
John wasn't
gear
wearing
on.
armor.
But
He
he
was
was
wearing
wearing
padded
furs, though.
clothing.
And he was being pulled underwater by a whole bunch of dead people along in some ice. Come on, son. Come on.
He knows how to
Come on.
swim.
Give us that famous Sway. How, Sway?
Look, it's
How? Seriously. How?
It's not how. His name is Jon Snow. Okay, the guy died once.
So there's clearly
matter.
not deep waters in Westeros. Clearly. The only thing deep is Cersei, apparently.
Oh,
Come on, man.
Wow.
Hey, he went there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And beat Tyrion to it. You probably had that one waiting.
So Sam, you're looking at the notes. Anything else we missed
Oh
out?
no, nothing really else. I think that the last scene was actually quite interesting. That Andrew brought up. I think that's actually a very interesting scene. That he hasn't bent the knee yet. So even if he's saying he's willing to accept her as his queen, he still hasn't bent the knee. So that is
Yeah, but
he's
it's
not
Jon.
made a
But it's
vassal.
Jon Snow though.
I'm saying they're still playing on the whole idea that they're going to get together because he's not a vassal; he's an equal. And I think who mentioned it? Someone mentioned that he's an equal. I think it was after the analyses they do after the show.
Yeah.
So he's still an equal to her. So that's like definitely marriage potential there.
Yeah.
And there's no other ruler out there for her to marry. She can't marry Cersei. She's definitely not going to marry.
Yeah, I mean,
Jason.
Muscle she said, "I will fight with you." The way she said that was like, "Yeah, I'm not fighting as your queen. Like we're going to in this together."
Yeah, and guys, you know, I noticed the subtle thing. She made it a point to tell him, like, I cannot have children.
Yep.
And she's like, do you understand? But she said it in kind of a way like, hey, if you want me, this is something I kind of have to tell you.
Yeah, she just
And
put it out there
seemed like an
immediately.
odd- it seemed like an odd thing to say,
It's
but at the
written in
time, when you're
stone
thinking
right now.
about
It's
it,
done.
yeah, when you're thinking about it, she's kind of like saying, like, we both know what's happening here, and you want to be a king. So if you want to have like a next generation, like if you want to pass it on, I can't be the one to give you children and pass it on to.
But that's
She's
the
like,
crazy
if you can
thing.
accept that, yeah.
But that's the crazy thing, right? If they both get married, right, and she has no heirs and no family left, succession comes back in, right? Because her successor then, right, if both of them dies, the successor now becomes a Stark, because a Stark is the next person that has a serious claim to the throne. Because then the king, if Jon ends up being king, the Stark
about
will be the only
Gendry?
one. Who's
Gendry's a bastard. He has no
he's a
claim.
bastard, exactly.
Hammer got
And
claim.
the Baratheons were rebels. So
Yeah.
there's always an argument for a Stark to come in at the end of the day. So that might be very interesting.
True.
I like how I like how Lou's just laughing. It's like Lou,
I'm
are
laughing
you
at the
laughing
chat.
because you know
No,
shit?
I'm laughing
or
at the
are you
chat.
laughing-
Whatever, dude, you're
Tyrion wants a
lying.
threesome with Cersei, and Sansa. He wants me to film it and air it on this channel.
Tyrion Lannister. Don't repeat any of his
Yeah, don't repeat anything that man says.
Tyrion, this is a family show, man. Come on.
Dirty mind.
Game of Thrones is a family show.
No, this podcast
is
This review is a family show.
What is wrong with you, Tyrion? Man?
I'm laughing at chat. I pay attention more to chat than I do here because I'm not allowed to speak.
Yes, exactly.
That is the consequence, man, of you skipping ahead. That's what I'm
Okay,
gonna
so,
keep
yeah,
saying.
you know what? Okay, to people watching, the reason why
I
is
understand
because the dragon death, we've known this since when, Warren? Since episode 1, right?
Well, since Lou snitched.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lou's like, I've seen the notes. I know what happened. I'm like, really? What? I just said what happened, and Warren's like, it's all my fault. I'm like, I expect him to give me something smaller, But no, he went straight and said, "Dragon dies," and Night King gets the dragon. I was like, "Huh?"
But I'm just glad he didn't get Drogon, because I thought if he got Drogon, it was game
It's a
over.
wrap.
And when he started walking towards him, and Drogon had his back to him, and you see the Night King just holding his spear like this. And he's about to
I like that spear, man.
I was like,
That's
oh
a
shit.
serious spear.
That was so realistic, Andrew. I love that. Andrew's reenactment of Game of Thrones.
Usain Bolt on. The Usain Bolt on.
Yeah. I mean, Night King has good GPS tracking system. I mean, that was on point because, like Warren said, everyone else in Westeros just sucked at it. I mean, he was one of the first men, right? So
Yeah.
So this was. I'll give him that. But anyway, anything else? So, what do we think about next week's episode, the season finale? Since we've seen some clips and it's the
what we do know, we will be starting about 10:35.
Next week. This is going to be it's the longest episode, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I can't say what I think is going to happen because I'm like 99% that's actually what happens. So I'm not going to throw a spoiler out there.
No, you don't know. You can throw it out because you don't know anything. Lou, just shut up.
I have no confirmation. I haven't read any books. Don't look at what Lou is saying. I haven't looked at any spoilers, but I'm pretty sure that the wall is going to come down next week.
Yeah.
Same here. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think this is the war they need to fight. And I think this is when Sansa and Arya finally realize that there are bigger things going on than just the both of them. So
maybe they leave it as a cliffhanger and we don't see the wall come down to the first episode of next year.
Nah,
I think we see the wall come down this time around.
And then we're just gonna be like everybody's screwed.
Well, they're just gonna walk around it. Well, they're just gonna freeze the ice and walk around it.
So 3 things I think are going to happen. I think we're going to finally see Jaime walk away from Cersei, finally, because he's going to realize that Cersei is a little crazy in the way she's probably going to be very resistant to fight.
Even though they have proof in front of her.
Yeah. The second thing we're going to see is, yes, the wall's definitely going to go down with that dragon. And then the third thing we're going to see is 2 people riding 2 dragons landing in the north to basically be like, oh, the king in the north is back. And guess what? He got friends.
And then Arya cuts Littlefinger's face.
Takes his face. Oh, that actually would be a great way for the actor to stay in there.
Yeah.
And okay, that's not a bad idea. Actually, I can see that happening. I can actually see that happening.
Yeah, I think if I'm Arya, I take Littlefinger out and then stop playing as Littlefinger, right?
Ooh, when was the last time we saw Arya and Littlefinger in the same scene?
Last week.
That's what I'm saying. Has she done it already?
No, no.
The person talking to Sansa this week was actually Arya wearing his
What if
face.
it was Arya as Littlefinger telling her to send away Brienne because she knew that Brienne would be the only one that could stop her.
Oh
so she
my
sent
God,
Brienne away.
this is
now
totally
Arya can kill
mind-boggling.
her.
But
I think we figured it out.
No, good theories.
Look. If you see Lou's face, Lou's reaction is like, when Lou's face is like, you just know that. Raven has said no.
I was like, what are these fools talking about? What are these fools talking about?
Okay, Warren, what do you think is going to happen? Because Lou, I'm not asking you. We all know that you know.
I know that. I won't answer.
Warren.
Warren's too busy watching SummerSlam.
Yeah.
No, SummerSlam's over now.
What do you think is going to happen next week's episode?
I don't know. I think we're gonna see. It's gonna be just. I think there might be some type of scene or something else. Maybe a small battle might happen between that meeting that they have. Where Cersei probably lays some type of trap, and this might be the one time where they plan for a trap, but Tyrion plans a better trap or plans a way around it ahead of them, and he finally gets a win somewhere within this season because he hasn't really gotten anything in terms of winning.
Oh, it's got some L's, man.
So he has to win somewhere, I think, in between all that. So maybe that's where he'll sort of get a leg up, sort of win there.
I think the trap is with Euron in some form.
Oh yeah, Euron's gonna show up. They're gonna try to use him. But Euron's gonna come, But then that's when you see that scene with Sully Dothraki coming in. So I have a feeling that while the Euron's L is due because he's a Greyjoy, so the second he comes in and tries to do this stuff, they're already planned for it, and they just wipe him out because we know the Greyjoys can't fight on land worth a damn. So so they'll just get eaten alive.
Marlon in chat says next week, Wall comes down, sex scene with John and Danny. That's what he predicts.
Oh man, you see, it's kind of weird, man. I'm kind of for and against it because that's like an auntie and nephew thing going on.
Yeah,
really, dude.
That ship is sailed, man.
You approve of Cersei and Jamie?
That ship is sailed from episode 1.
I do agree, Marlon, for one reason. I think it will happen then to sow the seeds for the child that is going to come. Because whatever decision she doesn't have a child, I don't buy that crap. It doesn't matter.
Sow the seeds, sow the seeds.
Or Bran now tells him that this is your auntie and you are related and all that kind of stuff altogether, because they've conveniently left Bran away so that this can happen. That's
I ain't trying to say anything.
And the truth of the matter is, it does not matter. Like Jon's lineage no longer matters if he ends up marrying Daenerys. Like, why do you need to know who his true lineage is now? If basically he marries Daenerys and he's now her, her husband or her heir or whatever. It makes no point anymore. No, but it really makes no point for anyone to say anything at that point in time. I think it only makes sense for his lineage to come up if there ever comes a point where they challenge him for either the North or Dany is no longer in the picture and he has to basically continue the battle. And they're like, okay, we have a bastard here. And then someone goes, no, actually, he's not a bastard. There's this thing called divorce and there's this thing called annulments. It doesn't matter if he marries Dany. Yeah, and he becomes like her actual successor. So it's going to just really muddy the water on that now.
Bran, Papi Grande says Bran moved his bed by the tree. That's where he be sleeping.
He sleeps inside the tree, man. It's not by the tree, inside the tree. It's a three-eyed.
That's what's gonna happen. We're gonna come back and he's gonna be in the tree, just hanging. Damn it, Bran be tripping.
How would they break the wall? I mean, like Warren said. I mean, to me, that dragon's going to be spinning ice.
We don't know they break the dragon. It's Bran. A dragon for a reason.
No, it's Bran. Like he's the magic's gone, so he can cross now. Because remember when Bran was in the cave, he got that.
I'm telling you, it's all the dragon, man. It's going to be like Frozen Lake.
I think they're just going to walk around that joint, like hey,
just take a left right there,
We can bypass this whole Eastwatch, man. We just use the ocean. Freeze this bitch.
I mean, the Bran thing could still be.
Remember, they were sitting there playing. They're sitting there playing with that ice. They're making a whole lot of that whole ice scene, and then when the ice finally froze over, they kind of got smart. And I was like, "Oh, maybe we can walk across this." I think I have an idea.
I think the whole Bran thing, the whole touching Bran, actually lets him, get a glimpse into when Bran is using his powers. I don't think it lets him cross the wall.
No, it does.
Because the only thing we've seen so far is every time Bran has used his power around him, he's been able to sense it. And I think that's because of the touch.
No, because you got to remember, when they were in the cave last season, they specifically said, like, there's magic in this cave that keeps him from coming out. So they thought they were safe. But that episode when they came in, he walked through, and they were like, holy shit, how's that possible? And then they said, Bran, he touched him. He has your mark. And that's when the 3-Eyed Raven took him on that like emergency training session to sort of let him know the thing. So like it's been proven that the magic that previously kept him from being able to travel beyond certain borders is broken whenever Bran is on the other side of that border.
Okay.
So then you should just ship Bran to the other side then. I mean, that's it.
They should, but
I mean, that is, I mean, when nobody knows this, that's the thing. And Bran
becomes the next Mance Raider.
Yeah, but Brad knows that he doesn't need to go across. He should just die there on the other side, and a Night King will never cross. And then you can just have dragons on top and just spit fire on them, and then it's over. And throw dragon glass arrows and spears. Right? I mean,
that'd be good.
Yeah, that would be simple. But Bran's keeping quiet because he's selfish and he want to stay alive. Yeah, he better go back on.
Is he being selfish?
Yeah,
or is he
he's
waiting
selfish.
for the right people to speak his truths to?
No, I'm just saying he would have just stayed on the other side and died.
Oh, come on, man. He had to get back home and tell the story to his brother.
Like, Rand just needs to die. He just needs to die. And it's
No, I mean to solve the mathematical formula that's called Game of Thrones, Bran outside wall on the other side where it's super cold dies. Night King can't cross. He can go and knock on the door all he wants, but he can't cross.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not wrong, but now he has a dragon. So now he's got a derivative, and it's all gone to shit. Sorry. Anyway, guys, anything else before we wrap up?
Nothing for me.
Nothing. All right, cool.
I can't speak, so I'm good.
It's three people, and one of them is Warren, who's just staring at his TV right now.
He was late.
There's a lot going on.
Okay. All right, cool, guys. Thanks for joining.
Anything from you, the audience?
Look at Lou.
Joshua
wants to say something.
A question a while ago. He wants to know, do we think they're going to melt down Heartsbane and make it 2 swords? But Heartsbane is already only 1 sword that couldn't be melted down to make 2.
Yeah,
it's not Ned Stark's type sword.
It's not a great sword. Ned Stark had a great sword, and that's like a huge sword. I think the only one they could probably do that to is
was
make a
Ned's
regular sword. You could probably break because Ned's sword made 3 swords. I mean, 3. Was it 3? No, 2 swords. Two swords. It didn't make a dagger. The dagger was someone else. But I think Jon's sword could probably make another sword and a dagger because it's a bastard blade. It's a length and a half basically. It's not a great sword size, but it's long enough to be a 2-handed or 1-handed. So you could probably do that with Jon's sword.
But no, they're not gonna do that. It's all about Dragonglass now, man.
Yeah, it's gonna see. That's the reason probably why they sent Gentry back. Yeah, I don't buy the crap that he was the fastest because, God damn it, John running to that rock, he seemed pretty fast.
With all that heavy gear.
But they need Gentry back in Winterfell to start making that Dragonglass weapons.
I mean, true.
Make this shit work for us, Master Blacksmith.
Mizzou Mike in the chat room has a really good one. He said, "Did you ever notice in the right scenes a random sacrificial extra person seems to appear out of nowhere?"
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Like,
6 of those people died on that rock. I was like, saying, hold up, who is that? I don't remember this dude. Yeah.
Dude, so
They did that twice.
People, right?
Yeah, the guy who fell down was caught earlier on before. It was the same actor.
He's the guy that got killed by the bear. Was also the guy that fell off the rock. And I was like, this is the same dude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, he was multi-purpose.
If you guys counted when the scene started, there were 10 people.
Save all money.
There were 10 people walking in the snow. When the bears came in, the bear killed 2 people and mauled 1. There should have been 7 people left. There should have been 8 people left with 1 of them injured. Right?
Yeah.
There were 9 people after that scene.
Hey, look, man. Okay. So that's HBO.
They were really hoping you didn't notice that.
I started counting, and after that, I'm like, nah, I give up. Nah.
They also use the same. They also use the same distance walking cave scene twice too. When they were walking through the rocks, they used the same scene twice. They were hoping you didn't notice that. Like budget cuts.
Yeah. Okay, so I was just saying there were 9 people, right? And then when the fight finally happened, 2 people died right off the bat. So that should have taken it down to no. Actually, before the fights really start, what's his name dies? The Red Priest dies, right?
Yeah.
So they should have been really 8 people, right? Okay, so now they're 8 people,
and then someone died when they were running toward the rock.
Somebody died was to 7.
They should be less than 1 person left in this.
Sam's basically saying, "How, Sway?"
Yeah, Papa Grande says
that person
can be made with Dragonfire. Is that true? Andrew, come on.
Yeah, it's part of the process. In Westeros, the art of making Valyrian steel is kind of like fall out of favor. It's like very hard. Dragonfire was like a part of what the original people in Valyria used to make those Valyrian steel swords. Okay. There was only one person that has been proven to be able to do it. It was the guy that Tywin Lannister brought from Essos to melt down Ned Stark's sword to make 2. Yep. And like he managed to do it without dragon fire, so it's a possibility.
He got the fire as hot as
Yeah.
the dragon.
It requires a very special technique to do it if you don't have a dragon. Now that they have dragons, it's like, is there anyone left who remembers how to do it? I'm sure Gilly and Sam will find it.
Gilly, Sam,
But
Gentry,
isn't Dragon Fire the stuff that Cersei used to burn down?
No,
that was wildfire.
I mean, wildfire. I'm sorry, wildfire.
Yeah, that's like a different thing. That's like a green chemical that they use.
Yeah, Gentry
And that
mixed
burns pretty hard.
with Sam. I think they will be able to solve that problem.
They will solve it quickly.
And throw a dragon in there.
Yeah.
Dragons travel at Mach 5. Those dragons are traveling like Mach 10, man. Maybe
They showed up in like minutes.
this homie, I mean, like, and she didn't have any like windbreaker with her too. There must be a force field.
I'm like, her eyes, for Christ's sakes. She must get like all the bugs and dust and everything in those eyes.
Nah, she's got
Westeros has no bugs.
She's got it. No, up there, there's no bugs. She's got like a force field, no whiplash.
No, but when she comes down low, man, come on. There has to be like dust and bug, and she's basically they're breathing fire, so there's obviously smoke. So come on. It's like, okay, it's magic. It's magic.
Targaryen, so that doesn't bother her.
Exactly. So
Damn it, Sam! Where were you at when all this was going on?
I know. Like I was thinking.
You're questioning someone that's walked out of a burning building twice.
It's true. Yeah, she's done that twice. Yeah.
And we have questions about this now. We have questions.
What should Cersei try to pull another Sept of Baelor on her? And she goes, that's interesting, but I'm gonna walk out of this now. Thank you.
Now I got my new clothes, bitch. You're gonna die.
Gendry wants his hammer back. Did they even take the hammer with them?
I don't know. I mean, all I know is that remember when she gave her hand to Jon Snow and Jon Snow ran out there to go and try and kill stuff by himself. I think the Hound was the first person to climb up.
Get the fuck out of here. He was like, "This is beyond the shit I'm dealing with. Like, I can't. There's fire. There's zombies,
and there's dragons.
The fuck is going on?"
That's why when it wasn't Tormund, I think it was oh man, what's his name? Jorah. When Jorah tells the Hound, I hope we meet again. Clegane goes, no, I don't. Nah, we ain't doing this again. This is a one-time deal, and it's done, and I'm out.
Oh, fucking not. He was basically like a surrogate Bronn in that whole thing. It's like the deal kind of ended right about when I saw this, when that fucking flaming bear. I was kind of done when the flaming bear happened.
Okay, so here's the thing, though. Does the Hound go with them to the south and see his brother?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's the fight we're getting.
Yeah, he is.
I think that's the fight we're getting.
The Hound got in the boat with the white.
Yeah.
But I think that's the fight we're getting. That's the fight we're going to get. Because, you gotta remember, he really is just there to kill his brother. That's all he's really around to do.
Can be killed anymore.
Oh, the Hound.
I think there's only one way to kill the brother.
Oh.
You got to chop the head off.
Yeah, bro. He's a zombie. Yeah.
Well, he has that axe, so he has to have Gentry's hammer now.
Yeah.
And he'll use that to break the breastplate on him.
Well, remember, he threw it on the floor and said, "The hell with this," and went to his dragon glass spears, too.
Ooh, you guys want to hear a crazy, theory?
As long as it's not something that Luke sent to you.
No.
I haven't said anything to Sam.
Cersei probably already knows about the whites because the Black Maester probably made a white.
Well,
the tower.
Okay.
How far is it off that? Because he's been experimenting with people for a while, so I'm sure he's figured something out. And the fact that the Mountain himself, who was poisoned and was supposed to die for sure, somehow came back as some weird, like obedient beast type of thing. It wouldn't surprise me if
it would not surprise me if Cersei goes, "Okay, I know this already," and Jaime goes, "So you've known this and you've been keeping something that dangerous in freaking King's Landing?" That's where we get the whole. Okay, Jaime's like, "Okay, peace out. I'm done. I'm like, this is it. Like she has gone crazy. I'm out."
Yeah, I mean that's a possibility. I think that
also the idea that she's probably going to pressure him to kill Bronn. Because Bronny's still alive
Cersei-
in the next episode.
Cersei made a deal with the Night King.
Night King makes no deals, man. That homie don't have time to make.
Actually, he
Cersei's
did make
like,
a deal.
hey,
Ooh, ooh.
Back in season 1, he made a deal with the stupid father who will
Brass-
give away his
Oh, yeah,
firstborn,
kids.
his male kids. So he had deals in place.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how he made his
all
army
those
stronger.
White Walkers that you see him with are the
Are
sons
humans.
that Castor has had
Yeah.
that he converted.
That's true.
yeah,
Well, goddamn, that man had a lot of
you
kids.
convert a living being, you turn them into a white. You convert a dead being, you turn them into a White Walker, or whatever they call those things.
Yeah, that is true.
Wait. So, yeah, from that caster guy. Yeah.
Yeah, Papa Grande. Yeah, that you're right. That could be interesting. Also, many things we'll find out next week. So anyway, guys,
That is just that is morbid. If she does that, man, that would be crazy.
does what?
If she actually gives him her unborn child, that would be crazy.
Well, he wants you to drink that damn Coke, Andrew.
All right.
I have
It's
to
a
break
big
it
ass
to you.
can of Coke.
There's no
Whoa, that's-
there's no Coca-Cola in this. It's just where I store my loose change.
Damn it, Andrew!
He's saving up to buy a Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I come in every day and I put change in here, and every few months I go to the store and I just put them in the Coinstar machine, and then I buy a case of Coke. So I'm good to go.
That's a big ass can of Coke.
Can you put it back where it belongs, Andrew? Thank you very much. Because it just looks like. I really thought it was a can of Coke too. Damn it! All right.
It looks like a can of Coke from our perspective.
You know,
it is a can of Coke, but it's just designed to be like a
Just
coin holder.
Let me tell you right now, he has noticed that can of Coke since like day one because he is officially a Coke fiend. Like,
I mean, yeah, I am, but
didn't we tried to get him to quit? It was
So,
ugly.
so someone's gonna take this and cut it in a way that says, and you're just gonna hear Warren go, "He's a Coke fiend." Like, true. Booredatwork.com. He does Coke. He's a Coke fiend.
That is great clickbait. I'm about to work on that right now.
all right,
And
guys.
he's gone viral.
Booredatwork.com has so many headphones because he just can't listen to one of them at a time because he's a Coke fiend. A Coke fiend.
World star.
Oh man.
See y'all next episode, man.
So that's why he's sweaty.
You have a cold, or
That's why
is that why I'm sweating?
Sweating.
So he's sweaty.
He has the AC on down to 64 degrees and he's still sweating because he's a Coke fiend.
This is that's the same about Benny's apartment. It gets hot as hell in there. So everyone sweats.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, John Salino's theory. So many ways Cersei should die. I believe she should get poisoned by Jaime, slashed in the throat by Arya, and die by suffocation from wildfire.
Wow.
At the same damn time.
That's some hate, man. That's some hate.
And of course, Tyrion is still talking about boat sex.
I think he has a theme here, and he's stuck on that theme.
Look, man,
I think he's
John
sticking
and
to his
Benny
theory.
are going to literally cause the motion in the ocean.
Oh yeah.
It's not a deep ocean according to the way shit works in Game of Thrones.
And apparently there's trees all over the place. Trees
Yeah.
all over the place.
Trees and long chains.
In chains. Oh no, what they are the daddy's chains. She is the breaker of chains. Where did she put the chains after she broke them?
The Night
Oh my God.
Good point. Good point.
That's a good one. All right, guys, we should wrap up. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining as always. It's been fun. We've got one more episode next week, season finale. Season 8 is shooting now, which means we'll get it most likely the same time. Quickly, I think maybe we should just talk about it, what you guys think now, because I think the season finale we're gonna have a lot to talk about. But it looks like HBO says that the spin-offs will have familiar characters. So I am thinking it's going to be along the lines of the Rebellion. What do you guys think? Or do you think it's something else? But they did say it will have familiar characters that people have known throughout the show. Any thoughts?
I think it'll be a different. I think it probably will be a different story, not the Rebellion. The Rebellion is something.
I think they'll go
has
away
a
from the
huge-
book.
Yeah, I think it has a huge impact on what we've seen in these 7 or 8 series. So they're not going to go back and try to rewrite history. It has to go on like stories, offshoots of what happens after, where the book hasn't really gone. because there's still a lot of things. It's like they can make it even just being in Dawn. There's a lot of things you could do just being in Dawn alone. So
I mean, true, but right now the Dornish have taken so many hours that they're not that interesting anymore.
They're like the weak sauce of the series.
Yeah, they've become worse than the Greyjoys in the very.
We can figure out what Gentry was doing all that time.
He went to Dawn.
We know what he was doing. He was building Lannister armor.
Well, he could have made a few stops on the way back and around.
We'll see. But anyway, guys,
he's not Podrick, man. He's not Podrick.
That's who it's going to be about. It's going to be about Podrick.
And on that note, want to thank Tyrion for understanding that Patriots will win the Super Bowl again this year.
Deal with it.
And anyway, guys, definitely follow everyone on their social media channels. Starting off with, of course, Mr. Andrew Cam on Twitter. He is the resident book nerd, and although this week he was a little light on the book information, I was very disappointed.
Got no brains no more.
There's no book information to give you at this point.
Gotta make some more, man. Gotta make some,
man. He was trying to be a maester, and he dipped like Sam did.
He ain't want to clean shit.
I am not about that maester life any longer. Like this one,
he broke his
maester all the way.
Yeah,
like I ain't breaking any chains. I ain't getting one. I'm out.
And then, of course, Mr. Warren Bowman from BW1.com. Follow him on Twitter as well as YouTube. That is his channel, and as well as also his Twitter handle. And then Mr. Bored Buddha, aka Lou Rod, aka Three-Eyed Raven, aka Can't Say Anything. So just smile, and that's about it.
Shut up, Lou.
And
I didn't say anything.
Somebody mute Lou.
Sam, aka Black Iron _man, part of the Booredatwork network. That is his Twitter handle. And myself, it is Bored at Work on Twitter and YouTube. Full subscribe. Join us next week. It'll be 10:30. Around 10:30 is when we'll kick it off, because it's going to be the longest episode of the season, and there'll be a lot to talk about. We'll be doing a lot of Note 8 coverage this week as well. For that question, Richie. All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, Richie. Note 8 stuff this week.